Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Yaki Talkie Community MA. I'm your host, Youfu. DAOrayaki is a decentralized media platform and a research organization that represents community will and is fully functional. Our goal is to connect creators, founders, and readers, and provide various funding and governance tools such as bounties, grants, prediction markets. We encourage community contributors to freely conduct research, curation, and reporting on a variety of cutting-edge topics. Today's session is the seventh in a series of research collaboration between DAOrayaki and DAO, which is fully funded by DAOrayaki and doing research by DAO. Today's session is complete by Roy, one of the co-members of Tsinghua University's Students Blockchain Association, which is TUBA. And today's topics are focused on AIGC research. So what is AIGC and what is the story it's come from and how it will be in the future? With these questions, to know more about it, we are so glad having Roy today to share his work on this research. So let's dive into this. Welcome, Roy.
Thanks for the host. And hi, everyone who are watching the live broadcast. I'm Roy from Tuba. And today, let's talk about AIGC. It's been really popular in recent months. And you may have used an AI conversation bot called ChatGPT. It can communicate with you without any barriers, answer your complex math questions, help you write speech, write programs, and even help you fix bugs. Also, its answers were sometimes wrong. Its versatility and quality was impressive enough to us. Natural language processing, we also known as NLP, developed so fast that in future, we may not realize whether it's a robot or a real person sitting across the screen talking to us. The release of the ChatGPT model make us realize that the field of text creation is no longer human expertise. In the near future, even programmers may be replaced by AI. And in the field of image creation, AI also shows extraordinary talent. The image below was created by AI mapping tool, Midjourney. It won the first prize for digital painting in 2022. And the stable diffusion model exploded on the application side last year. AI can generate drawings based on a piece of text you type. The rendering effect is not bad in some skins, and more importantly, its generation efficiency is beyond the reach of human artists. And text and image are just two specific directions in AIGC application scenarios. Audio, video, music, and even three-dimensional skins generation are gradually landing for AI. It becomes a versatile creator. And so what changes will the massive application of AI content generation technology will bring to the current content creation ecosystem? Let's review the evolution of content creation mode first. The development of content ecology can be divided into three stages. The first stage is PGC, professionally generated content. All content is created by a professional team with qualification in the relevant field. Its threshold and costs are high, and the efficiency and quantity of generation are very limited. But the quality is guaranteed to a certain extent. Some famous platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus are all fall into this category. They make money by selling commercial rights to TV shows and movies. Users are more likely to receive and search videos resource to watch. It's a lot like the Web1 network. The internet at that time was read-only web. Users can only search and browse information, not interact and modify it. At this stage, Creation is the work of only a few professionals, and the work of ordinary creators are difficult to be seen by the public. Therefore, in the second stage, a series of UGC platforms were derived, such as TikTok, YouTube, and Bilibili. UGC, which called user-generated content, on these platforms, users are not only the receiver of the content, but also the providers. Everyone can upload their own videos to the platform, which greatly expands the scales of content creations. But the lowering of barriers has also led to uneven quality of creation. So users need to filter content through a large number of videos to watch what they are interested in. Most Web2 platforms use intelligence recommendation technology to suggest content that may be of interest to users. Therefore, the UGC creation model can be easily linked to the application platform in Web2. And with the development and output of a large number of AI generation models, the creation modes gradually transform to AIGC. AI helps or even replaces humans in content creations. Compared with manual content productions, AI programs are not only greatly optimized in speed, but also can produce corresponding content through user input to meet the customized needs. The following table compares the characteristics of the three content creation modes. The reason for the question mark in the quality column is that the content produced by AIGC tool is still relatively unstable and in the progress of rapid iteration. But the speech is so fast. And here is a transform of the creation modes. And you having looked at the correspondence between PGC and Web1, UGC and Web2, and does AIGC represent the content creation modes in the Web3 era? In my opinions, Web3 is not as closely tied to AIGC as the first two. They optimize content creation for Web2 in two different ways. AIGC starts with the content creation form and efficiency, hoping to optimize the efficiency and labor cost of content creation in the UGC. But Web3 starts with the perspective of production relations, see the disadvantage of the platform holds users' data in UGC and helps to optimize the property rights of content creation and distribution. The specifically coupling modes of the two will be discussed in detail later in part 4. And now part 2 goes to the technological development. We look back at the developments in AI and NLP, and we will see which technology that will make AIGC so popular in 2022. The rapid development of AIGC technology began in 2014. This year, generative adversarial network models, which also known GAN model, were published. It consists of two parts, a generator and a discriminator. Its methods is similar to one character's ingenio's martial art novels. He used his left hand to fight with his right hand, so he can practice Kung Fu alone. In this model, the generator generates fake data and attempt to deceive the discriminator. And the discriminator receives the fake image generated by the generator and along with some real symbols. And they try to determine which ones are generated by the generator. So the two models progress together during the fight until the equivalent stage is reached. And both the generator and the discriminator can get better results. And in the 2 or 3 years after GAN was published, various transformation and application of GAN was carried out in the industry. Researchers in various related industries have carried out several migration applications of GAN model. In 2016 and 2017, a batch of practical application like speech synthesis, emotion detection, and face changing, and so on were carried out. And in 2017, the transformer model was carried out by Google and has gradually replaced traditional RNN models such as long and short-term memory, we also know as LSTM, as a preferred model for NLP problems. Both as sequence-to-sequence model, but different from traditional RNN model, transformer calculates the correlation between each words and the context to determine which information is the most important for the current processing test. Transformer connects the different units in a sequence by attention mechanism, which not only increase the degree of parallelization and speed, but also retain valid information for longer, which improves the effect of the model. And next goes to BERT. After that, in 2018, BERT, his full name is Bidirectional Encoder Representations from Transformer, applied transformer to construct a complete model framework of NLP. It goes beyond existing models for a range of NLP processing tests. And later, the models was continuously optimized with larger quantities of parameters and get better effect like GPT-3, Industry GPT, and ChatGPT in the last 2 years. The geometric growth of parameter number also leads to the rapid growth of model development costs. So today's language model has 3 features. We call it big model, big data, and big computing power. You can see how fast the number of model parameters has increased in the upper left figure. Some even proposed Moore's laws in language model. That's a 10-fold increase in 1 year, in a single year. The newly released ChatGPT model has 175 billion parameters, and it's hard to imagine how many parameters there are in GPT-4 after that. And you may already know how powerful the performance of ChatGPT is in use. It is not only limited to text conversation and question answers, but also can complete professional high-level functions such as writing code and fixing bugs. So what improvement does ChatGPT make compared to the previous models? It's about 3 improvements. The first is HFRL. We call it human feedback reinforcement learning. That's the addition. It's a kind of addition of human feedback. We add a large number of manually marked human feedbacks into the training tests to optimize the model based on human feedbacks. But a large number of manual label further increase the cost of model training. And the second point is that the model has its own principles when facing with several problems. Previous model may learn a lot of negative and sensitive content when chatting with its users. And finally, it may learn how to abuse and also even discrimination. And different from the previous model, ChatGPT can identify malicious message and then refuse to give the answers. The last one in this model is that this model has its memory. It supports continuous conversations and can remember previous contacts with the users. So as you go through multiple rounds of conversation with the model, you will find that its answers are gradually optimized based on your feedback. For example, when you ask the model the same question several times, you may find that its answers work differently each time, and you will feel better through the conversation. And then let's talk about the current industry application of AIGC. We mainly focus on image generation and three-dimensional AIGC. We introduced it through a set of data from Miracle Plus, a well-known early-stage venture capital firm. At its startup camp in September 2022, 55 projects are shortlisted, including 19 AI-related companies, 15 metaverse-related companies, and 16 large model companies. There are more than 10 AIGC-related projects. More than half of them are image-related, and details of each project are attached in the links below. Compared to the field of NLP, image AIGC has a natural advantage. Compared with a large model in NLP, the size of the model in CV fields is relatively lower and also has a higher fit with Web3. It can be closely linked with NFT and the metaverse. Not only is the application threshold relatively lower, but also people's acceptance will be higher. Complex compared with words and language, picture has often been a more intuitive and acceptable from the expression. And the popularity, most important, the popularity of the image AIGC in 2022 can be attributed to the arrival of the diffusion model, especially the stable diffusion. It's come from a paper in CVPR 2022. Its name is High Resolution Image Synthesis with Latent Diffusion Models. So what is diffusion? The diffusion is to continuously add a small random noise to the image and gradually change a picture to a completely noise picture. The diffusion model is to reverse the process, generates the target image from a noise image. And the current track also has several drawbacks. The current image generation modes still need to do more optimization between effect and the efficiency. It's difficult to produce a great picture in a short time, maybe in few seconds. The second one is that this company has high operating and maintenance costs and needs a lot of graphic equipment to support their model. And also the track is competitive, but killer apps are lacking. And then we go to three-dimensional AIGC. That's a track I'm looking forward to. Also, the current technology is still immature. It is foreseeable that this industry will be in a rapid development in the near future. If the metaverse is really put into usage in the future, the demand for virtual skins and virtual objects will expand greatly. When the user is in the three-dimensional skins, what the user needs is no longer two-dimensional picture, but three-dimensional objects and skins. So in the future, three-dimensional AIGC technology will become an important infrastructures in the metaverse. However, there are still some difficulties in this technology. Let's guess about how to represent and construct a virtual three-dimensional digital assets. It consists of two parts. One is the three-dimensional shape, and the other is the color. We call it textured. Therefore, a three-dimensional virtual asset can be generated in two steps. Once we have the geometry of the three-dimensional object, we have several ways to give its color. Maybe we can choose the one called texture mapping. It's like this picture. In short, we use a two-dimensional image to paste onto the three-dimensional surface, as shown in the image above. We also can use environmental map, like the picture below. We place a three-dimensional object into a kind of particular virtual skins and obtain its surface texture using an environment map as shown. So the challenge is how do you represent a three-dimensional objects, or further, how do you represent a three-dimensional skins? In what way does the model represent the geometry feature of a three-dimensional object and skins? In computing graphics, there are several ways to represent and store a three-dimensional objects, which can be divided into explicit and implicit categories. For explicit representation, we can use mesh, point cloud, and for implicit representation, we use algebra and NeRF. NeRF is a kind of neural radiation field. In addition, three-dimensional reconstruction can also be used to generate the three-dimensional shape of the object according to the multiple picture of the same objects. And so we need to choose the representation that fits our model, generate geometric information from the text, generate texture from the text, and then map the texture onto the geometric objects. Finally, we need to integrate all these processes into a set of pipeline from text to three-dimensional image. It must be a long pipeline that requires a lot of computing costs and time to complete, and it's difficult to be done. There is no effective and stable methods so far. But the popularity of diffusion model will drive many researchers to further develop the three-dimensional image generation technology. Technology in this field is also iterating fast at present. And compared with VR, XR, and other technology that need to interact with people and have strict requirements on real-time performance, three-dimensional AIGC has a lower threshold for promotion, and its application will be much faster, I think, maybe in 3 years. For the last part, we talk about the connection between Web3 and AIGC. As a powerful content generation tool, what can AIGC bring to the Web3 applications? The first thing we have to realize is AIGC and Web3 are two different directions. AIGC as a production tool using AI technology, it can be applied in both the Web2 worlds as well as the Web3 world. And the majority of projects that have been developed so far are still in the Web2 space. It is not appropriate to talk the two together. Web3 helps to give users the right of virtual assets with the help of blockchain and smart contracts technology. There is no direct connection between it and the creation modes, but there do have a lot of convergence between the two. Firstly, they all rely on programs and software to optimize existing production and authoring models. AIGC use AI to replace human beings for creation, and Web3 also use decentralized programs such as smart contracts and blockchain to replace artificial and centralized institutions. There will be no subjective errors and deviation when machines are used instead of humans. And the efficiency will also be significantly improved. Next, Web3 and the metaverse will have a large demand for two-dimensional picture and audio, three-dimensional virtual objects and skins. AIGC is a good way to satisfy that. So many people call AIGC a productivity tool for the Web3 era. It do make sense. But for now, there is still a lack of real AIGC Web3 integration projects. Most of the AIGC startups programs are still Web2 in nature. And the application in Web3 remains image AIGCs for NFT productions. So I think that the link between AIGC and Web3 cannot only depend on the link between productivity and relations of productions, because AIGC can also bring productivity increase to Web2 projects. And the advantage of Web3 in projects are not obvious, especially for areas where the concept of user property rights is not yet prominent. So in order to seize the opportunities of AIGC development, I believe that the current Web3 projects need to be optimized in the following two aspects. One is to seek Web3 native projects supported by AIGC, which point to the projects that can only be applied in Web3. Or you can put it another way, to think about how AIGC can solve the current dilemma facing Web3 projects. Such a solution is also native to Web3. For example, Redone is a decentralized content distribution platform. It uses AIGC to generate article quiz. It used to motivate users who rarely read the article. Like the picture showing below, that's a quiz generated by AIGC according to the test. We call it proof of rate. Because using bots to earn tokens is an ongoing problem in ReadFi. And this project solves the problem using AIGC and provides token rewards for the users who rarely read the article. We need to do more pattern innovation like this. It's hard to do, but the Web3 demands it. And the second one is to use AIGC to optimize the efficiency and the user experience of existing Web3 applications. At present, the application of AIGC mainly exists in image and NFT, but in fact, creation is a very broad concept. There are many other ways to create besides picture. The three-dimensional AIGC mentioned above is a channel in Metaverse, and quiz generation is also a broad ideas. And there is plenty of room for similar explorations. For example, EduDAO and developer platforms can think about how to use AIGC to power the education, like setting questions or modifying modular codes, generating single tests, and so on. GameFi can also use AIGC to generate NPC in games. More boldly, we can even generate smart contracts with AIGC's coding capabilities. These all are attempts that Web3 application can make in conjunction with AIGC. AIGC channels currently lacks phenomenal level application, and we are looking forward to that. And I think that's all for today's sharing. A long time indeed, and thanks for your listening. Hope it will be of some benefit to you.
Wow, thanks. Thank you so much for Roy to sharing this all of this AIGC knowledge to us. It's Roy today take us from the evolution of AIGC, the technology development and the application, and also the connection with the Web3, to know all about this AIGC story. So I think at the last, the fourth part, I think there would be a good story in the future between this AIGC and the Web3. I do so. And once again, thank you so much for Roy to bring this wonderful sharing to us. And also, of course, thanks to DAO for supporting. And also many thanks to our community members and everyone here tuning for this, participating to this session. And we're looking forward to continue to explore and research more on this AIGC track with Roy. And we also really hope so you have continuously writing papers, doing research on this track about AIGC, maybe NFT, maybe with some digital art, with all of this kind of stuff, we can continue to research. And currently speaking about this, DAOrayaki covers and funds original topics, including but not only limited to DAOs, governance protocols, token economics, game theory, Web3, layer 1, layer 2, Ethereum ecosystem, public goods, DeFi, GameFi, SocialFi, and also quantum computing, space exploring, and AI, of course. So there's a lot of many more cutting-edge topics, and we are not only limited to this. If you're interested, if you want to share your idea like today, like Roy, please join us. Join us. We have a platform for you to share your idea, to be heard. So welcome to join us to build this community. And this video of this live stream will be posted and uploaded on DAOrayaki accounts on Bilibili, YouTube, and the other platforms. And also the corresponding research content will also be published on DAOrayaki official website and the WeChat accounts soon, very soon, today or tomorrow. We're gonna be published very soon. Be sure to subscribe and follow us. And here, as you can see, this on this live streaming, there's a QR code of our Twitter, Discord, WeChat, and be sure to join us. And we have much more this wonderful, this brilliant people here to share the ideas, to bring you to the front of knowledge of all of this world. It's gonna be fun, and you're gonna gain also at the same time. So thank you so much. Thank you again to Roy for today's sharing. And everyone, be sure to subscribe and listen. Again, see you next time. Thank you, Roy.
Thanks.